Me and my friends, Sam and Mike, decided that we will be ditching a 2-hour science class for some fun. Well, that's what I thought. We decided to go to the Central Mall. Sam and Mike stated that we would go into one of the perfume stores, just to browse around to pass time. I didn't think much of it, and followed along. They claimed that was something they usually do before heading back to school. While we were there, I was checking out some brands of perfumes, and then Mike and Sam called me over whilst walking out of the store. We proceeded to go to the public restroom. While inside, Sam and Mike suddenly asked me for a favor, insisting that they really wanted some of the perfumes which they saw back at the store. I thought they wanted me to pay for it, but since it was quite expensive, I said I possibly couldn't afford it. Both Mike and Sam burst out laughing, which confused me. Then Mike insisted that I needn't to pay, but simply steal them. I flat out refused as I knew this was completely wrong. However, Mike and Sam were really persistent, claiming that each one of them had done it before and that it was so easy. They kind of boasted about how they spent last week stealing items such as perfumes, candies, and video games and whatnot. They also confidently claimed that none of the security tags even worked if you placed it securely in your bag or pocket. Of course, me being the typical high school teen, and due to the peer pressure of trying to remain relevant to my friends, I reluctantly agreed. So, of course, we went back to the perfume store while receiving a stern stare from the security guard, who probably noticed my suspicious and anxious face. So Mitch and Sam each went their own way, acting like a paying customer, browsing and trying out samples. I was left alone to grab the 2 perfumes my so-called friends wanted. I tried to put in the act as I simply showed that I was browsing around and trying out samples. And this is when it got really intense as I quickly grabbed the items and gently placed them in my back pocket. I'm not gonna lie, I felt the intense adrenaline rush and definitely broke out a bit of a sweat. I tried to remain calm and acted as if I was simply browsing around. And then I looked around and Mitch signaled that we were about to leave now. So I proceeded to make way towards the store entrance. And now I simply had to pass the security personnel. I was literally scared and felt like I had jelly legs. As I started to walk out of the store, I thought I made it. But you guessed it, the store alarm bell started to blast out. I was trapped as I became still. I couldn't move as I just stood there. I literally froze. My life was over. Well, that's what I thought. The security guard stood right in front of me before I even could attempt to walk or even run out of the store. But as I said, it didn't matter because I couldn't do either. The guard used one of his radios to blurt out some form of code to one of his colleagues and then made me walk along with him inside the store back room. I was petrified and had that weird butterfly feeling in my stomach. Believe it or not, the guard took me down what looked like some kind of basement and proceeded to take me inside a room where it looked like a mini cell. You guessed it, I was literally locked inside a store jail. And I knew I messed up. I didn't know what to do. I kept apologizing and couldn't help stop the tears flowing down my eyes. The guard returned after 10 minutes, claiming that either I provided my home contact details or else he would be happy to contact the cops. Of course I took the first option. I mean, who wouldn't? I was left alone in a dim store cell, coming to terms with what I had just done. I was disgusted with myself, considering how I was so stupid to listen to Mike and Sam. After about almost an hour, the security person returned, but this time with my sister Kate. Apparently it was Kate who was home alone while my parents were at work. I could see from Kate's face the big disappointment in her eyes as she expected more from me. We were taken into an interview room where the security guard and a man with a suit had explained the events to my sister. They then pressured me into explaining the reasons for what I had done, and such offenses can lead to prosecution. I simply stated the truth and that my friends had convinced me into stealing the items. I wholeheartedly apologized for my actions without any reserve and explained to them that I had learned my lesson. The 2 staff seemed happy enough, perhaps due to the fact that they could see that I was distraught, that I had utmost regret for my actions. So they made me and Kate sign some forms and that was it. I was free. And indeed, Kate didn't hold back while we drove home, insisting what I had done was morally wrong. I begged her that such a thing would never happen again, and hoped that she wouldn't tell Mom or Dad. Kate, being a very forgiving person, agreed only if I promised to never contact or hang out with Mitch or Sam. Since everything was under control, I texted both Mike and Sam, sarcastically claiming that it was nice for them to make sure I was okay. I never heard back from them. Good riddance. That's what I thought. I learned the hard way, but now I know that it's vital to choose friends wisely.